to the edge between who you were and who you've become, the edge where people usually quit, but you didn't, the edge where it stops being about motivation and starts being about revelation. You've walked through storms most people couldn't stand in for a minute. You've tasted loss, rejection, silence, and doubt so heavy it nearly bent your spine. And yet you're here. That's not luck. That's not fate. That's the weight of your scars forming armor. That's the universe whispering that you were not built to break. You were built to become something unexplainable. Let's call it what it really was. It wasn't easy. It wasn't pretty. You've been ignored, underestimated, dismissed. You've poured yourself into things that didn't return even a fraction of your effort. You've been left standing in the ruins of your own plans, wondering if all this pain was supposed to mean something. And still, you kept walking. When your hands were shaking, when your voice cracked, when your heart was tired of believing, you still moved. That's not just resilience, that's evolution. You've eaten defeat for breakfast, swallowed disappointment without water, and faced mornings that felt like nothing more than a repeat of pain from the day before. But there's something sacred in that kind of suffering, something few ever discover. It refines you. It strips away illusions. It burns off the unnecessary. And what's left is something terrifyingly pure, clarity. When you have nothing left to lose, you stop pretending. You stop living for applause. You stop chasing validation. You begin to chase truth. You've reached the place where comfort is no longer an option. You know what it feels like to lose everything that made you feel safe. You've met the version of yourself that didn't want to get out of bed, the one who questioned everything, and you stood up anyway. That moment, right there, is when everything changed. That's when you stopped existing and started becoming. People think strength comes from success. It doesn't. It comes from survival, from standing up when your mind screams enough, from rebuilding yourself quietly when no one is watching. You've been through moments that looked like endings, but endings are deceptive. They are not death. They are transformation. Every time something broke, you gained something else. Wisdom, resilience, depth. Pain doesn't come to punish you. It comes to prepare you. Every scar on your spirit carries a message. Every loss carved a room for growth. You are never being buried. You are being planted. You've seen what others haven't. You've seen how fragile people can be, how easily dreams can die in silence. But you didn't let yours die. Even when the light faded, you carried the flame yourself. You became your own source. You learned how to walk through darkness without needing to see the end. And now you stand at a place where you realize you didn't just survive. You evolved into something few understand. A quiet storm. A force that doesn't seek approval. A mind sharpened by truth. The world doesn't reward people like you immediately. It watches, it tests, it waits to see if you're serious. But there's something the world doesn't expect. You never stopped. Every setback became fuel. Every no became a whisper saying, keep going. You've learned that success doesn't come from inspiration. It comes from obsession. The kind of drive that doesn't fade when no one is clapping. The kind that keeps breathing even when everything hurts. Now, it's time for the truth. The truth is, you don't owe anyone an explanation for your scars. You don't need to justify your journey. You don't need to apologize for changing. The world made you strong because it had to. You've carried yourself through storms no one else could weather. You've rebuilt yourself with trembling hands. You've held faith when logic said there was no reason to. That's your power? But here's the darker truth, the one no one wants to say. You can't go back. You can't unsee what you've learned. You can't shrink to fit the small places you once belonged to. Growth comes with isolation. Strength comes with solitude. When you outgrow your old self, the world feels colder. That's the cost of transformation. You lose comfort, but you gain freedom. You lose people, but you gain purpose. You stop chasing what you thought you needed and start becoming what you were always meant to be. You didn't come this far to survive. You came to dominate your own limitations. You came to break cycles, to end patterns, to rise above the noise. You were built for the moments when everyone else gives up. You are the living proof that persistence is louder than pain. You are the reminder that even when life tries to bury you, you can rise again every single time. Look back for a second. Remember the version of you that almost quit. The one who thought they weren't enough. The one who kept pretending to be okay while falling apart inside. That version of you still lives within you, but now you protect them. Now you lead them. That's what healing is. It's becoming the person you needed when you were broken. You've walked through fire, and that fire didn't destroy you. It refined you. It burned off weakness, fear, and doubt until only truth remained. That truth is simple but unshakable. You are unstoppable because you've already endured what was supposed to end you. The world can't take from you what you've already rebuilt stronger. You've turned pain into power, failure into focus, doubt into drive. That's not motivation. That's transformation on a cellular level. Now, you stand in front of a mirror, not looking for what's missing, but recognizing what survived. You're not chasing validation. You are validation. You are the proof that the process works, that the struggle was not wasted. Everything you lost was making space for what you are now. Every closed door redirected you toward the right one. Every silent night built the patience you needed to walk through the noise of success without losing yourself. People don't understand what it takes to keep going when you have no reason left to. They see the surface, the calm expression, the quiet confidence, but they don't see the nights you fought with your thoughts, the mornings you didn't want to face. You became your own savior in a world that tried to forget you. That kind of strength doesn't fade. It becomes your essence. There's something sacred about those who've been broken and rebuilt themselves. They move differently. They love differently. They understand pain in a way that makes them dangerous, not because they seek to harm, but because they cannot be harmed the same way again. You are that person. You've crossed the line from needing to prove yourself to simply knowing who you are. This world will keep testing you. It will try to pull you back into comfort. It will whisper that you've done enough. But you know better. Comfort is the slowest poison. You didn't endure all that pain just to sit still now. You're meant to keep rising, to keep creating, to keep building even when no one understands what drives you. You've learned that greatness isn't built in light. It's forged in darkness, in the quiet moments when no one believes in you, but you keep going anyway. So here's your full download, the truth behind your persistence. You didn't survive because you were lucky. You survived because you were chosen by your own spirit to endure. You've been training for this moment your entire life. Every failure was an instruction. Every heartbreak was a redirection. Every delay was divine timing, preparing you for what's about to unfold. You were never behind. You were being aligned. When you ate dirt, when you fell to your knees, when you questioned if it was worth it, that was the universe stripping away everything false so that only truth remained. You've been carved into someone who doesn't need motivation anymore. You've become self-sustaining, self-aware, self-directed. You've turned pain into discipline, and discipline into destiny. That's what separates you from the rest. Now it's time to walk differently, to carry yourself like the survivor you are, to stop explaining why you're different, to stop minimizing your power so others feel comfortable. You've earned your fire. You've earned your silence. You've earned your peace. You don't need to seek the light anymore. You are the light that walks through darkness and keeps moving forward. This isn't the end of your story. It's the part where you finally understand the meaning behind it all. Every loss, every betrayal, every delay was not punishment. It was purification. You were being built for a bigger purpose, one that required you to know how to rebuild yourself, how to stand alone, how to see through illusions. That's why it had to be hard. That's why it took so long. Because destiny doesn't arrive when you're ready. It arrives when you've been broken enough to respect it. Now you carry a different kind of strength, the quiet kind, the kind that doesn't need to prove, doesn't need to shout, the kind that shows up every day with purpose, even when no one sees it. You are no longer chasing recognition. You are building legacy. You are no longer running from your pain. You are using it as power within a power. You've crossed the line between who you were and who you're becoming, and there's no going back. And the truth is, you never wanted easy. You wanted real. You wanted depth. You wanted meaning. That's why you kept going when everyone else stopped. That's why you're here listening to this now. Because deep down, you always knew there was something on the other side of all that struggle. Something only the strong ever get to see. That's what this moment is. Your confirmation that you were right to keep going. You've proven that you can stand alone. You've proven that you can rebuild from nothing. You've proven that your mind is stronger than circumstance. And now it's time to live with that truth. To stop surviving and start thriving. To create from the ashes of what you lost. To lead from the lessons you earned. You've done the hardest part. You kept going when there was no reason to. Now, you are the reason. This is your reward, not in gold or applause, but in awareness. The awareness that you can handle anything life throws your way. The awareness that pain doesn't define you, it refines you. The awareness that you are unbreakable, not because nothing hurts you, but because you've learned to heal faster than anything can destroy you. The world will see you and think you got lucky. Let them think that. They'll never understand what it took to get here. They'll never understand the nights you sat in silence, convincing yourself to keep believing. They'll never understand the sacrifices you made, the comfort you gave up, the faith you built from nothing. But you know, you remember, and that's enough. From this point forward, you walk with clarity. You walk with purpose. You walk knowing that everything you touch now comes from a place of truth. You don't chase anymore. You attract by being. You don't explain anymore. You embody. You don't fear anymore. You flow. The dark days gave you sight. The broken moments gave you strength. The lonely hours gave you wisdom. And now, you finally understand. You were never meant to just make it. You were meant to transcend it. This is the moment where everything shifts. Not because something magical happens outside of you, but because something unshakable has awakened within you. The strength you once begged for, you now carry effortlessly. The confidence you once chased, you now live in. The peace you once thought was lost, you now protect fiercely. That's the real reward of your struggle, not the outcome, but the awakening. So when you look at yourself now, see more than survival. See power, see purpose, See the warrior that refused to disappear. You've eaten failure, swallowed fear, embraced uncertainty, and turned it into fuel. That's not weakness. That's art. That's mastery. That's proof that the darkness was never against you. It was your greatest teacher. You've made it this far because something inside you refused to die. That spark that told you to keep going, it wasn't hope, it was destiny. And now, destiny is calling you to rise higher than ever before. No more hiding, no more doubting, no more shrinking. This is your era of ownership. Own your scars, own your story, own your strength. Because you ate pain and kept moving. You walked through storms and kept believing. You rebuilt when no one cared. And now, you deserve the full download. The understanding that it was never about winning. It was about awakening. The pain was never meant to break you. It was meant to reveal you. So take a deep breath. Look around. Everything you see now, the peace, the perspective, the power, it's yours because you earned it. Not with luck, not with shortcuts, but with persistence that refused to die. You made it. And now it's time for the truth. You were never fighting for your place in the world. You were fighting to remember that you already had one. Now walk with that truth. Speak with that truth. Live with that truth. Because you didn't just make it through. You became the storm that no darkness could drown. You became the light that doesn't need permission to shine. You became everything they said you couldn't. And that, right there, is the full download. You made it. Now it's time for the truth. You were never meant to survive. You were meant to rise. And now that you've risen, the world feels different, doesn't it? The noise doesn't bother you the same way. The doubts that used to echo in your head sound smaller now, almost distant. You've reached that rare point where silence doesn't scare you anymore. It fuels you. You used to chase peace. Now you create it. You used to seek validation. Now you embody it. That's what transformation does. It flips the script. It makes you realize you were never the weak one. You were just surrounded by noise that tried to convince you otherwise. You see, there's something that happens when you truly evolve. You stop needing to announce it. You stop needing to prove it. You move in silence. Not because you're hiding, but because your energy speaks louder than words. People start to feel it before they even see it. They can sense that something in you has changed, that your presence carries weight now. That's what happens when you stop surviving and start mastering. You've become the calm inside the chaos, the one who doesn't break when things fall apart. You've learned how to breathe through storms, how to stand tall when everything tilts, how to trust yourself even when nothing makes sense. That kind of strength is rare because it's not built in comfort, it's forged in darkness. You've walked through nights that lasted longer than they should have, through moments that stretched your mind to its breaking point. But now you understand. Every second of it was necessary. The truth is, you needed the breakdowns to learn discipline. You needed the silence to learn self-trust. You needed the betrayal to learn discernment. You needed the rejection to learn redirection. Every single painful moment was a lesson in disguise, sharpening your awareness, molding your mind, cleansing your path. And now, you can finally see the pattern. The chaos wasn't random. It was the blueprint. Most people never get this far. They stop halfway when it starts hurting. They choose comfort over calling, but you didn't. You stood in the fire long enough for it to purify you. That's why your energy feels different now. That's why opportunities are starting to find you instead of you chasing them. You've become magnetic, not because you're trying harder, but because you've aligned deeper. You used to ask, why me? Now you say, thank you for making me strong enough. That's how you know you've grown. Pain no longer defines you. It refines you. It no longer scares you. It instructs you. You've turned suffering into wisdom, endurance into confidence, and chaos into clarity. You've reached a level of inner power that can't be taught, only earned. This world will still test you. It always will. The higher you rise, the more pressure you'll feel. But now you understand pressure differently. You know it doesn't exist to crush you. It exists to reveal you. Diamonds don't form in silence. They form under force. And you've been under force long enough. Now it's your turn to shine, not to show off, but to illuminate the path for those still fighting their own darkness. You don't have to speak loudly anymore. Your energy does the talking. People who once overlooked you will start noticing you, not because you changed for them, but because you stopped needing them. You've stepped into your own gravity now. That's what happens when a person realizes their worth. It creates a field around them that pulls everything meant for them closer. And here's the thing, no one tells you. Peace feels lonely at first. Growth feels quiet. Success feels different. There's no crowd clapping. There's no instant thrill, just stillness. But that stillness, it's sacred. It's the sound of alignment. It's the sound of you finally moving in rhythm with your purpose. And once you reach that frequency, you'll never want to go back to chaos again. You used to be driven by fear. Fear of losing, fear of failing, fear of being forgotten. But now, you're driven by vision. You've realized that fear is just energy waiting to be redirected. You've taken that fear and turned it into fuel. And that's why you're unstoppable now. Not because nothing scares you, but because nothing controls you anymore. When people look at you now, they'll sense something unexplainable. They'll see the calm in your eyes and wonder how you got it. They'll feel your strength and mistake it for luck. But you'll know the truth. It was built, piece by piece, in the silence of your struggle. It came from the nights you whispered to yourself, just one more day. It came from every time you showed up when no one else did. That's what makes your story real. You've gone from waiting for opportunities to creating them, from hoping for a break to becoming the breakthrough. You've become your own foundation. You've stopped begging for peace and started protecting it. And in that shift, you've discovered something powerful. Freedom isn't given, it's claimed. And you've claimed yours with blood, sweat, and unshakable will. Now you walk differently. You speak differently. You think differently. Not out of arrogance, but out of awareness. You know what it costs to evolve. You've paid the price in full. You've buried the old version of yourself with honor, and now you live in the skin of someone unrecognizable, stronger, wiser, grounded. That's the transformation people dream about, but rarely reach. You're not here by accident. You were meant to go through everything you did. You were meant to be broken, so you could rebuild with intention. You were meant to lose, so you could learn the value of peace. You were meant to face darkness, so you could discover your light. This was never punishment. It was preparation. Every time you were rejected, the universe was protecting you. Every time you were delayed, life was aligning something greater. Every time you thought you were lost, you were being rerouted. That's the truth of it all. You were never failing. You were being forged. And now you finally have the strength to see that clearly. So when the next storm comes, and it will, you'll smile differently. You'll know it's not there to destroy you, but to remind you who you are. You'll walk through it without panic, without fear, because you've already survived worse. You'll stand tall and say, I've been here before, and I came out stronger. That's what unbreakable looks like. Not the absence of pain, but the refusal to bow to it. Hello, my beautiful Alpha family. It's time for us to dive into something that many of us face, but rarely talk about. The moment when their mask slipped, and now they're mad that they can't play victim anymore. You see, there's a truth in this world that many are terrified to confront. A truth that stings, burns, and breaks illusions. And that truth is that there are people who walk among us pretending to be something they're not. They wear a mask, a facade, a shield to hide their insecurities, their falsehoods, and their manipulation tactics. But here's the thing about masks. Eventually they slip. No matter how well crafted, no matter how deeply woven into their lives, the mask will slip, and that's when the game changes. And what happens? When it slips? The person who spent their entire existence pretending to be the victim, pretending to be powerless, pretending to be at the mercy of others, is suddenly exposed for what they truly are. And that exposure? That's where the chaos begins. They can no longer play the victim because they've been revealed. They're mad, furious even, because the world has seen them for who they really are. And now, the shield is gone. No longer can they manipulate with lies. No longer can they tug at the heartstrings of those who care. And when that mask slips, they lose their power. They lose their control. And that loss, that sense of vulnerability, is what drives them to madness. But let me tell you this, my beautiful Alpha family, the truth is that this moment, this exposure, is something they've feared more than anything else. It's a loss of their carefully crafted identity, the one they used to weave their way through the lives of others, to take, to dominate, to manipulate. Now, they stand exposed, and they're furious. Furious that the very illusion they relied on has been shattered. But here's the thing. You are not the ones who are mad. You are not the ones who are angry. They are. They're angry because the game they've been playing has come to an end. You know, many people spend their lives wearing these masks, hiding their true selves behind carefully constructed lies. They walk around pretending to be the victim, pretending that life has wronged them, that they have been dealt an unfair hand. They play the part of the wounded soul, the person who has been betrayed, the one who has been hurt by others. And for a long time, it works. They play the game well. They tug at the hearts of those around them. They make people believe that they are helpless, that they are powerless. They make you believe that they are the ones who need saving, the ones who need sympathy, the ones who deserve your pity. But here's the truth that they can't hide forever. Everyone wears a mask. Some wear it for protection. Some wear it out of fear. Some wear it because they've been taught that they are not worthy of the world's truth. But eventually, no matter how hard you try, no matter how much effort you put into creating the perfect illusion, that mask will slip. And when it does, it will expose everything. It will expose your true nature, your true intentions, your true colors. You can only pretend to be something you're not for so long before the real you emerges. And the moment that mask slips, all the lies, all the manipulation, all the victimhood they've built up around them crumbles. And that's when they get mad. They're mad because their game is over. They're mad because they've been exposed. They're mad because they can no longer hide behind the false persona that they spent years creating. But here's the real beauty in this. You see, as much as they might be mad at the world, as much as they might lash out in anger, they're mad at themselves. They're mad because they now have to face the truth about who they really are. They no longer have the comfort of their lies, their facades, and their manipulations. They have been stripped bare, and that is something that no one, especially someone with a fragile ego, wants to face. And here's the part where it gets interesting. When they're mad that they can't play victim anymore, That's where you come in, my beautiful alpha family. Because you've been through this, you've been in the trenches, you've seen the mask slip before, and you know what it means. You know that when someone's mask slips, it's not your fault. It's not your problem. It's theirs. And that's the power you hold. You see, they want you to feel guilty. They want you to believe that somehow you've wronged them by exposing their true nature. But the truth is, their mask slipping wasn't your doing. It was always bound to happen. It's like a pressure cooker that eventually has to release steam. It's only a matter of time before the facade cracks, and when it does, they can't hide behind their victim narrative anymore. So let's talk about this victim mentality. It's one of the most destructive forces in this world. The idea that life has wronged you, that the world owes you something, that your circumstances are beyond your control. It's a mentality that weakens you, that holds you back, that keeps you stuck in a state of perpetual helplessness. And the truth is, some people cling to this mentality because it's all they have. They've created an identity around it. They've built their lives around it. But what happens when that mask slips, when the illusion is shattered, when they can no longer play the victim? They crumble. They can no longer hide behind their false narrative. They can no longer manipulate the world around them into believing that they are the ones who are wronged. And in that moment, they are forced to face the harsh reality of their own actions, their own choices, their own life. And this, my beautiful alpha family, is the moment when you need to rise. Because when their mask slips, it's not your job to save them. It's not your job to comfort them. It's not your job to play along with their drama and their chaos. They've been living in their world of lies for far too long, and now it's their responsibility to deal with the consequences of their own actions. And trust me, they won't like it. They won't like being exposed. They won't like the fact that they can no longer control the narrative. They won't like the fact that their mask has slipped, and now the world sees them for what they truly are. But you are different. You see, you've been through your own battles. You've been through your own struggles. You've faced your own demons and come out stronger. You've learned that you can't hide behind a mask. You've learned that you must be true to yourself, no matter how painful that truth might be. You've learned that the only way to live a life of power, of strength, of purpose, is to be unapologetically you, to stand tall in your own authenticity, to never back down from who you are. And when someone's mask slips, when their victimhood is exposed for the world to see, that is not your moment to feel sorry for them. That is not your moment to take on their burdens. That is not your moment to fall into their drama. No, my beautiful alpha family, that is your moment to stand firm in your power, because you know what it means to be true to yourself. You know what it means to own your reality. You know that no one can ever take away your strength, your power, or your truth. And here's the harsh reality. They will try to pull you back in. They will try to manipulate you once again, to make you feel guilty, to make you feel responsible for their fall from grace. They will try to make you doubt yourself, make you question your actions, make you feel as though you were the one who wronged them. But don't fall for it. Don't let them draw you back into their web of lies and manipulation. Their mask slipped for a reason, and that reason is that they can no longer control you. They can no longer manipulate you. They can no longer play the victim and expect you to rescue them. And that, my beautiful alpha family, is your power. So let them be mad. Let them throw their tantrums. Let them lash out in anger and frustration. Because in the end, it's their anger, not yours. It's their pain, not yours. It's their truth, not yours. And as long as you stand strong, as long as you stay true to who you are, you will always be in control. They can't play the victim anymore. They can't hide behind their mask anymore. And that, my beautiful alpha family, is something they will never be able to take away from you. Keep shining your light, keep standing in your truth, and keep rising above the chaos they tried to create. Because in the end, you are the one who holds the power. You are the one who has the strength. You are the one who can never be knocked down by their games. Keep being unapologetically you, and never let anyone make you feel guilty for exposing the truth. I'm glad you're still with me, because there's so much more to unravel. It's essential to understand that once you have exposed the truth, once their mask has slipped, that's when the real battle begins. Not just with them, but with yourself. People who have lived under the weight of their lies, who have maintained that false narrative of victimhood, will always try to drag you down into their pit. They don't know how to function in a world where their mask has slipped, so they will attempt to reconstruct a new lie or manipulate the truth even more. But you, my beautiful alpha family, cannot allow them to make you feel guilty for being the one who exposed them. You need to understand that the truth is a weapon, and when it's wielded correctly, it's the most powerful tool in existence. Some people will never want the truth to come out because it strips them of their power, their ability to control the narrative, their ability to manipulate those around them. They thrive on deceit. They feed off of the power they get from pulling the wool over people's eyes. And when that illusion is shattered, when the mask falls, and they can no longer play the victim, they will try to make you the villain. They will attempt to paint you as the bad guy, the one who wronged them, the one who exposed them. But you must not fall into that trap. It's critical to realize that no one has the right to make you feel guilty for shining a light on the truth. No one has the right to make you feel like you owe them anything just because they've been exposed. It's not your fault that they've been living in their fantasy world, deceiving themselves and everyone else around them. The truth is, you've done nothing wrong by standing up, by calling out the behavior, by letting the world see who they really are. If they cannot handle the truth, that's their problem, not yours. Never let them manipulate you into taking responsibility for something that is fundamentally theirs to own. What happens when we expose the truth is not only about the person who's been exposed, it's also about us. It's about how we deal with the fallout, how we navigate the emotional consequences that come with shedding light on something that was meant to remain hidden. It's about recognizing the emotional toll that revealing the truth takes on us, how it can sometimes feel like a weight, a burden, even though we know deep down that we've done the right thing. It's a difficult thing, isn't it? To stand tall in the face of opposition, to rise above the noise, to continue walking your path when everyone else is trying to drag you back into their chaos. But the truth is, the moment you stand firm and refuse to let anyone make you feel guilty for exposing them, that's when you take back your power. There's a lot of people who walk this earth believing that they can hide behind their lies forever, that the world will never see their true colors. And for a while, maybe they're right. Maybe they can manipulate and deceive for a time. But what they fail to understand is that the truth has a way of catching up with them. It always does. It might take time. It might take years. But eventually, they will be forced to confront what they've been hiding. And that moment will be their downfall. And when that moment comes, they'll lash out. They'll scream. They'll try to manipulate the situation, and they'll attempt to make everyone feel sorry for them. They'll try to convince you that you're the one at fault, that you somehow caused their mask to slip, that you were the one who made them expose their true nature. But this is where you stand firm, where you remind yourself that it is not your responsibility to manage their shame, their guilt, or their emotional instability. Think about this. How many people have you encountered who play the victim? How many people have you allowed into your life who, every time something goes wrong, shift the blame onto someone or something else? How many times have you seen people who have wronged others, who have manipulated situations to their advantage, who have created narratives in their heads to justify their actions, only to turn around and cry, victim, when it all starts to unravel? The victim victim mentality is so deeply ingrained in some people that they would rather stay trapped in their own self-pity than face the truth of their actions. They would rather live in the shadows of their lies than step into the light of accountability. But when their mask slips, when the truth is out in the open, they cannot escape the consequences, and that's when they get mad. They're mad because they can't control the narrative anymore. They're mad because the world can see them for who they are. They're mad because their ability to manipulate has been shattered, and now they have to face the reality of their own choices. But here's where you, my beautiful alpha family, come into the picture. Because you've been through your own struggles, your own battles, your own moments of facing the truth. You've been in that place where you've had to confront the harsh reality of who you are and where you stand. And you've learned, over time, that the truth doesn't hurt. It's the lies that do. It's the deceit, the manipulation, the pretending, the hiding that causes pain. The truth, however uncomfortable, is freeing. It's liberating. And the moment you stop feeling guilty for exposing someone else's lies is the moment you reclaim your power. This world has an unfortunate tendency to reward people for their ability to deceive, for their ability to manipulate others into believing their false narrative. But the beautiful thing about truth is that it doesn't stay buried. It rises to the surface, no matter how hard someone tries to bury it. And when it does, it has a way of exposing everything. The truth can be uncomfortable, it can be painful, it can be messy, but it also has the power to heal, to restore, and to free people from the shackles of deception. When you expose the truth, you free not just yourself, but everyone around you who has been living under the influence of those lies. And that, my beautiful alpha family, is something to be proud of, not guilty for. And let's talk about what guilt really is for a moment. Guilt is the feeling that we often internalize when we believe we've wronged someone, when we feel like we've hurt them, betrayed them, or exposed them in a way that causes them pain. But guilt is a manipulative emotion. It's a weapon that other people use to control you, to make you feel responsible for things that aren't your fault. It's a tool that the ones who wear masks and play the victim use to keep you in check. It's a mechanism they use to make you question yourself, your actions, and your choices. But guilt has no place in your life, not when you've done nothing wrong. When you expose someone's truth, when their mask slips, and when they try to turn the tables on you, that is not your fault. You are not the one who created their deception. You are not the one who made them lie, who made them manipulate, who made them hide behind their false victimhood. You did nothing wrong by standing in your truth and exposing theirs. And that's where you must stand firm. You must stand tall in your conviction. You cannot let their anger, their fury, their attempts at guilt trip you into feeling like you owe them something. You owe them nothing. You owe yourself the truth, and the truth is that they were never the victim. They were the perpetrator. They were the ones who played the game, who manipulated, who deceived, who wore the mask. And when the mask slips, they are left with nothing but the harsh reality of who they really are. In the end, they will try to blame you for everything. They will try to make you feel guilty for exposing their lies. They will try to manipulate the situation in a way that makes you the villain, the bad guy, the one who caused all the drama. But you, my beautiful alpha family, know the truth. You know what you did. You didn't create the chaos. You didn't make them lie. You didn't make them wear a mask. You simply exposed what was already there. And if they can't handle it, that's not your problem. You have done your part. You've lived in your truth, and that's what matters. So don't feel guilty. Don't feel like you've wronged them. Don't let them make you question your actions. Stand tall, stand firm, and know that the truth is your shield. You've done nothing wrong by exposing the truth. You've done nothing wrong by standing up for what's right. And as long as you stay in your truth, nothing can ever shake you. Nothing can ever break you. You are stronger than their manipulation, more powerful than their lies, and you will rise above their attempts to drag you down. Keep shining, my beautiful Alpha family. The world needs your truth. I can't emphasize this enough. There's a relentless thirst for authenticity, for rawness, for the kind of truth that cuts through the noise of manufactured perfection, lies, and facades. The truth is the foundation of everything real, and without it, we are left stumbling in the dark, lost in a maze of illusion. The world, especially today, needs people like you, people who are unapologetically authentic, people who have the courage to reveal their truth to the world, no matter how difficult it might be. And here's something even more crucial for you to understand, my beautiful Alpha family. The world doesn't just need your truth, it needs your strength to uphold it. We live in a society where lies often seem to be rewarded. The ones who manipulate, who play the game, who put on a show, are often the ones who get ahead. They live behind masks, feeding into the narrative that everything is perfect, when in fact, it's a fragile facade. It's an exhausting game, one that drains them and anyone who comes in contact with their illusions. But here's the beautiful paradox. Truth is never truly buried for long. It has this power, an inherent force that eventually finds its way to the surface. The lies and facades they construct might keep them afloat for a while, but only the truth can stand the test of time. I can't emphasize this enough. There's a relentless thirst for authenticity, for rawness, for the kind of truth that cuts through the noise of manufactured perfection, lies, and facades. The truth is the foundation of everything real, and without it, we are left stumbling in the dark, lost in a maze of illusion. The world, especially today, needs people like you, people who are unapologetically authentic, people who have the courage to reveal their truth to the world, no matter how difficult it might be. And here's something even more crucial for you to understand. My beautiful Alpha family, the world doesn't just need your truth, it needs your strength to uphold it. We live in a society where lies often seem to be rewarded. The ones who manipulate, who play the game, who put on a show, are often the ones who get ahead. They live behind masks, feeding into the narrative that everything is perfect, when, in fact, it's a fragile facade. It's an exhausting game, one that drains them and anyone who comes in contact with their illusions. But here's the beautiful paradox. Truth is never truly buried for long. It has this power, an inherent force, that eventually finds its way to the surface. The lies and facades they construct might keep them afloat for a while, but only the truth can stand the test of time. You see, when we expose the truth, when we refuse to let the world stay in the dark about what's really going on, we are doing more than just revealing something about someone else. We are doing more than exposing lies, manipulation, and toxic behavior. We are creating the possibility for freedom, for ourselves, for others, and for the world. By standing in the truth, we give others permission to do the same. We create a ripple effect that spreads far and wide, one that cannot be ignored or denied. The reason the world needs your truth is because when people can no longer hide behind the smoke and mirrors, they are faced with something powerful. They are faced with a reality that forces them to look inward, to confront their own shadows, to question their own actions, and to find the strength to be real. The world needs you to expose the lies, not just for your own healing, but for the healing of others. When someone is unmasked, when they can no longer hide behind a veil of manipulation, they are given a choice. Face the truth of who they are, or remain lost in the web of deceit. But here's the thing, My beautiful Alpha family, the more we are willing to stand up and live our truth, the more we are confronted with the ugliness of the world. The more we expose the lies, the more we risk being attacked, criticized, or ostracized. But let me tell you this, there is power in the resistance. There is power in pushing through the opposition. And when you hold your ground in the face of the chaos, you will find yourself becoming even stronger. The world may not always be ready for your truth, but it needs it nonetheless. People might lash out. They might try to discredit you. They might try to silence you. But every time they do, they expose themselves even more. The truth has this incredible way of doing that. It doesn't just reveal the personal situation that's being called out. It also reveals the people who are afraid of it. It exposes the ones who hide behind masks of their own. It shows the people who are so deeply invested in the lies that they will fight tooth and nail to protect them. These are the ones who will try to make you feel guilty for standing in your truth. They will twist the narrative. They will attempt to shift blame. They will attempt to gaslight you into believing that you are wrong for exposing them. They will call you a troublemaker. They will try to convince you that your truth is unnecessary, that it's harmful, that it's disruptive. But none of that is true, and you must never let them convince you otherwise. The truth is never harmful in the way they will try to tell you it is. The harm isn't in the truth itself. It's in the lies that have been built up around it. The harm comes from the fact that these lies have been allowed to fester and grow. And it's not just about their lies. It's about the effect those lies have had on everyone involved. It's about how the lies have manipulated the narrative, poisoned relationships, and kept people trapped in a cycle of deceit. The world needs your truth, because it's only by exposing the lies that the healing process can begin. The world can't move forward while it's stuck in the dark. We cannot move forward in our lives, in our relationships, or in our society if we keep letting the lies reign. But here's the important thing you must remember, my beautiful Alpha family. You are not responsible for the pain that comes when you reveal the truth. The pain doesn't come from the truth itself. It comes from the confrontation with the lies. And if someone tries to make you feel guilty for exposing their lies, understand that it's a manipulation tactic. They want to shift the focus from their actions, their deceit, and their false narratives onto you. They want you to carry the burden of their consequences. They want you to feel like the villain in their story, when in fact, you are the hero who dared to expose the villain. You will be met with resistance. You will be met with backlash. But what you must understand is that this resistance is not about you. It's about their inability to face the reality of who they are. It's about their discomfort with the truth. When you stand firm in your truth, when you refuse to back down, when you refuse to let them drag you into their web of lies, you are setting a standard. You are setting an example. You are teaching people around you what it looks like to stand strong in the face of adversity, to refuse to compromise your integrity for the sake of comfort. And let's be real here. Comfort is the enemy of growth. So many people stay stuck, remain silent, or choose to ignore the truth because it's easier. It's more comfortable to live in denial. It's more comfortable to go along with the lies because it means you don't have to rock the boat. But growth, real growth, happens when you step out of that comfort zone. Growth happens when you face the uncomfortable truths that others are unwilling to face. Growth happens when you expose the lies, even when doing so means you have to endure criticism, rejection, or fear. Here's the part that may be the hardest to accept. The moment you expose the truth, your life will change. It's inevitable. People will look at you differently. People will either respect you for your courage or resent you for your boldness. But you must remain steadfast. You must stay true to who you are. The truth is that when you expose someone's lies, you're also making a stand for your own integrity. You are putting your own values into action. You are choosing to live in the light, not in the shadow of deceit. And when you do that, you become a beacon of light for others who are still stuck in the dark. But here's the most important part. The part that separates the truly strong from the weak. When your truth is revealed, you must be prepared to face it with grace. There will be moments when you'll feel the weight of your actions. You might second guess yourself. You might feel the pressure of the world trying to push you back into the shadows. But remember this, you are not alone. You are never alone in your pursuit of the truth. The truth has always had a way of bringing people together, of uniting those who refuse to stay silent. When you stand in your truth, you are creating a space for others to do the same. And that's where the true power lies. Not just in your truth, but in the way your truth has the ability to inspire others to speak theirs. This is the foundation of what it means to be an alpha, my beautiful family. It's not about dominating others. It's not about imposing your will on the world. It's about having the strength to stand in your own truth, to live unapologetically, and to create a world where others can do the same. It's about leading by example, showing others that the truth is the most powerful force in the universe, and that when you stand firm in the face of adversity, when you refuse to let anyone make you feel guilty for exposing the lies, you become an unstoppable force. You become the person who is able to create change, inspire others, and live a life that is rich with authenticity. The world needs your truth, not because it's always easy to hear, but because it's the only way to break the chains of deception, manipulation, and fear. The world needs your truth because it's the only way we can begin to heal, to evolve, and to build a future that is based on honesty, integrity, and strength. When you stand in your truth, you are creating a path for others to walk beside you. You are lighting the way for those who are still too afraid to speak their own. And in that, you will find your true power. Keep standing tall. Keep speaking your truth. Keep rising no matter how difficult the journey may seem. Because, in the end, the truth will always set you free. In the end, my beautiful Alpha family, never forget that the world needs your truth. It's the foundation upon which real change is built, and it's the key to your own empowerment. Stand firm in your authenticity, even when others try to manipulate or silence you. You are not responsible for their lies, and you should never feel guilty for exposing them. The truth is a force that can transform, heal, and unite. By embracing it and sharing it with the world, you become a beacon of strength, inspiring others to do the same. Keep walking in your truth and let nothing or no one deter you. Because in the end, your truth is your power, and that's something no one can ever take from you. In the end, my beautiful Alpha family, never forget that the world needs your truth. It's the foundation upon which real change is built, and it's the key to your own empowerment. Stand firm in your authenticity, even when others try to manipulate or silence you. You are not responsible for their lies, and you should never feel guilty for exposing them. The truth is a force that can transform, heal, and unite. By embracing it and sharing it with the world, you become a beacon of strength, inspiring others to do the same. Keep walking in your truth, and let nothing or no one deter you. Because in the end, your truth is your power, and that's something no one can ever take from you. Welcome, you warriors of silence, you watchers in the shadows, you architects of patience who stood by with clenched jaws and locked fists while the world spun on its reckless course. You, the ones who saw it coming, you knew. You felt it in your bones like a tremor before the quake, like the taste of smoke before the fire. And yet you waited, not because you were weak, but because you were stronger than they'll ever understand. You waited not out of fear, but because you understood the storm better than those dancing in the sun. ever could. You watched, you endured. You let them walk their path, speak their words, make their choices. And now, you stand in the stillness after the impact, watching the ruins of what they built with arrogance. The price was paid, and your patience, yes, your patience, was the silent blade that carved fate into stone. You see, there is something far more dangerous than rage, something more final than shouting or resistance. That is patience, real patience, the kind that waits, not because it must, but because it chooses to. Patience with full knowledge of consequence, the kind that allows someone to walk into the fire they set themselves without stopping them, even when you could have. That is not weakness, that is not cruelty, that is the burden of the awakened. The burden of the one who sees the edge, knows its depth, and still lets the fool walk forward, because they must learn the cost of their arrogance. And when that lesson lands, it is not your shame, it is their receipt. And now the world wants to ask you why you didn't intervene, why you didn't shout louder, fight harder, try more. They want to question your silence as if silence were absence. But you know the truth. Silence is not absence. Silence is presence under control. It is thunder locked behind iron doors. You were never quiet because you had nothing to say. You were quiet because you saw what was coming, and you knew that your voice would fall on deaf ears. You knew that saving them from themselves would only delay the inevitable. Or worse, make you their villain for daring to interrupt their illusion. So you waited. You let them make their mistake. And now they've paid. It is a strange place to stand, isn't it? This place of aftermath, of ashes and echoes. There is no triumph here, no gloating, no celebration, only clarity. The kind of clarity that doesn't come from being right, but from watching the truth unfold exactly as you warned it would. The kind of clarity that makes you feel both old and sharp, like a blade forged from prophecy and grief. You warned them, maybe with words, maybe just with your eyes, maybe with the silence of someone who has seen the same mistake play out 1,000 times. But they didn't listen. They never do, until the cost is carved into their skin and their soul. People underestimate the power of watching. They think action is everything, but the wisest wolves don't howl, they wait. The most dangerous storms don't announce themselves, they just arrive. And you became the storm they never saw coming, not because you attacked, but because you endured, because you let them spiral, because you knew that trying to catch them would only make you the enemy. And so, you let go. You watched them fall, and they learned. Oh, how they learned. Don't let guilt find you now. Don't let their pain wrap around your spine like a leash. You are not responsible for those who chose to ignore the fire to chase their illusions. You are not to blame for choosing distance over destruction. You gave them room, and they used it to dig their own pit. That is not on you. That is on them. What they built, what they broke, what they lost, all theirs. You were the echo, the warning, the final whisper before the fall. They chose not to hear it. There is something deeply misunderstood in this world. The idea that patience is kindness. Patience is not always soft. Sometimes patience is the cruelest mirror you can hold up to someone's face. Sometimes, letting someone face the consequence of their own decision is the only honest love you can give. Because interfering, rescuing, sparing them, it only steals their truth. It only delays the reckoning. And no soul evolves in delay. So yes, you let them go. You let them fall. And now, they're broken. But broken isn't the end. Broken is the beginning, if they're willing to rise. You are not cruel for stepping back. You are not cold for watching them burn their own bridges. You are not evil for refusing to drag them away from their own chaos. You are real. You are fire wrapped in skin. You are the truth they weren't ready for. the consequence they never expected. You stood there while the world spun out of control around you, and you kept your ground. And that is a power few will ever understand. Do not apologize for letting them face what they chose. Do not carry the weight of their decisions. They were given choices. They were given warnings. They were given you. And that was more than enough. And if that wasn't enough for them, then nothing ever would have been. You were not put on this earth to save people from themselves. You were not born to bleed every time someone refused to listen. Your silence was not weakness. It was the shield that protected your peace. And now they know. They finally know. They called you heartless, but your heart was the one that stayed. They called you distant, but it was you who watched from the edge, feeling every step they took. They said you didn't care, but only someone who cared would hurt this much, seeing what they've done to themselves. And yet, even with all that, you did not intervene, because you knew that sometimes the deepest transformation only happens when the crash is allowed, and you allowed it. You didn't cause it, you didn't push them, but you didn't pull them back either. And that was your silent courage. Let them talk, let them blame you, let them weep, scream, shatter under the weight of their own choices, but do not take it on. Do not shrink now that the storm has passed and the truth is clear. You are not their savior. You were their signal, and they ignored it. The price was always theirs to pay. And your patience? It was the quiet judge, the invisible force that gave them room to choose. They chose. And now, they live with the echo of that choice. There is no power in being a shield if all it does is stop people from ever learning to defend themselves. There is no wisdom in screaming warnings if no one listens, and there is no point in setting yourself on fire to keep someone else warm when they refuse to believe in flames. So you watched, you waited, and when the collapse came, you were not surprised. It didn't shake you, because it was written long before it fell. You had already grieved it, already accepted it, already made peace with the cost. You have earned your stillness. You have earned the right to stay distant. You have earned the wisdom of silence. Let no one steal that from you now. Let no guilt drag you into the ruins of someone else's pride. Let no voice tell you that you should have screamed louder. You whispered. You warned. You waited. That is enough. That is more than most would ever do. And now, your patience stands like a monument over the battlefield. Quiet, unmoved, victorious in its own way. They paid for their mistake. But you paid something too. You paid with restraint, with knowing, with the ache of foresight. And that's not nothing. So allow yourself your own mourning, not for them, but for the piece of you that still wanted to save them. That part that still believed maybe, just maybe, they would see it before it broke. But they didn't. And that belief had to die too. That is your loss. Quiet, sharp, real. But in that death you rise. Wiser, stronger, unapologetic. You carry the silence of someone who understands now that not everyone can be saved, that not every fire needs water, that sometimes all you can do is watch the flames and let the forest burn, so that one day something real can grow. And next time, maybe they'll listen, or maybe they won't. But either way, you won't lose yourself trying to stop the inevitable, because you now understand your power was never in preventing the fall. It was in surviving the silence. And to anyone listening now, standing where you once stood, hear this. It is not your job to protect people from their own lessons. It is not your purpose to interrupt their karma. It is not your burden to carry what they refuse to learn. Be the whisper, be the warning, but then be the stillness. Step back, watch, endure, and when the world demands to know why you didn't do more, let your answer be as unshakable as stone, because they needed to fall, and they did, and you are still standing. So let us speak again. not to justify, not to argue, but to solidify the fire that now flickers in your chest, the one that grew not from rage, but from realization, the one born not in the noise of conflict, but in the quiet of understanding. They paid for their mistake, but your currency was different. They lost control. You lost connection. They faced ruin. You faced loneliness. And both of those are battles. Make no mistake. Because it hurt, doesn't it? To know you were right and to find no joy in that knowing. To see someone collapse under the very weight you warned them about, and to feel not triumph, but a heavy kind of sorrow that drips slowly into your soul like cold rain. And yet, it was necessary. The universe, fate, karma, call it what you will, does not waste pain. It recycles it into wisdom. It transforms it into growth. But it cannot do that if someone else is always stepping in to take the hit. That's what you stopped doing. That's what you finally let go of. And now, you are learning that love, real love, sometimes chooses distance over comfort. That loyalty isn't always about rescue. Sometimes it's about letting someone face the mirror alone. That not all protection is good, because protection without responsibility breeds only weakness. You see that now. And though the world might call it cruel, you know it was necessary. Because if you had stepped in again, if you had shielded them again, they would have believed again that actions do not echo and consequences can be avoided. But they can't. They never could. There is a gravity in this world that pulls every false step toward its rightful end. You just understood that before they did. You tried to warn them, and when they laughed, dismissed, or defied, you waited. Not out of indifference, but out of conviction. Because here is the deepest truth. If you do not let people break, they do not learn how to build. If you do not let people fall, they will never develop the strength to stand on their own. You did not want to watch them bleed, but you knew their healing would only begin after they hit the ground. So yes, you let them make their mistake. You let them walk into the storm, and they paid for it. But what you did, what you endured, was far greater than anything they will understand. Because staying silent when every part of you wants to shout, that is power. Watching someone you love self-destruct while knowing your interference would only delay the truth, that is power. Walking away not because you stopped caring, but because you finally realized that caring does not mean saving, that is power. This is what the strong learn. You do not always win by holding on. Sometimes you win by letting go, not because you wanted to, but because you had to. And the pain that follows, it doesn't make you weak. It makes you real. It makes you the kind of person who can walk through fire without setting everything around you ablaze. You didn't just survive, you evolved. And now, the next time someone tries to drown you in their choices, their chaos, their consequences, you won't mistake it for your duty. You'll remember this moment, the silence after the storm, the echoes of lessons finally learned, the power of not saving them. And you'll stay calm, still, unshaken, because you've seen what happens when people refuse to learn. You've seen what happens when warnings are ignored. You've seen what happens when patience is tested, and truth is laughed at, and wisdom is rejected. And you'll never carry that again. This isn't bitterness. This is clarity. This isn't detachment. It's peace. It's the realization that your role was never to fix, but to witness. To plant the seed, but not to force it to grow. They paid for their mistake. And maybe, just maybe, in that payment, they will finally begin to value the things you tried to give them all along. But whether they do or not is not your concern anymore. You've moved on. You've stepped out of the rescue role and into the mastery of stillness. You've learned to love from a distance, to care without controlling, to speak your truth, and then let it echo without chasing its destination. Because at the end of it all, it wasn't your silence that killed them. It was their pride. It was their ego. It was their refusal to see the edge until they were already falling. You just had the strength to let them fall. And for that, You are free. The story isn't finished, but because your soul is still holding something tight, something old, something buried in the place where empathy and exhaustion collide. Because even after all this, even after the price was paid, there's a part of you, small, quiet, but persistent, that still asks, did I do the right thing? That part isn't weakness. It's human. It's the echo of all the times you gave too much. The memory of all the times you jumped in, believing that love meant sacrifice, that loyalty meant pain, that your worth was proven through how much you could endure. But no more. You know better now. And in this moment, right here, right now, you must let that question die. Because yes, you did the right thing. You finally did the right thing. Not the easy thing, not the popular thing, not the thing that earned applause or affection or gratitude, but the right thing. You did not twist yourself into a shape that made others comfortable. You did not silence your inner voice just to preserve someone else's illusion. You did not throw yourself into their chaos again, not this time. You stood still, and they collapsed. And as cruel as it may seem, sometimes collapse is the only teacher strong enough to break through the arrogance of the unteachable. You let them fall. And in that fall, they finally heard the silence you'd been screaming with all along. Let the world call you cold. Let them call you ruthless. Let them write their stories with your name in the margins as the villain who didn't rush in. Let them misunderstand. Let them project. Let them rage. But you will walk forward, calm, grounded, unmoved. Because you don't need their approval. You already have your clarity. And clarity is heavier than praise, sharper than blame. It cuts through the noise and leaves only truth. And here is that truth. Some people cannot be saved until they are shattered. Some lessons cannot be taught through words, only through wreckage. Some people do not understand consequences until they become one. And you let it happen. Because you knew. Because you were tired of playing God to people who wanted your strength, but rejected your wisdom. You were tired of watering gardens that were never yours to grow. Tired of pouring yourself into broken vessels that only ever wanted to leak. So you stepped back, and they paid. And it wasn't vengeance. It wasn't hate. It wasn't punishment. It was justice. The natural unfolding of cause and effect. It was what happens when someone touches the fire after being told not to. And you no longer felt the need to stop them from getting burned. Because the truth is, your patience was never passive. It was a test, a final act of grace before the curtain fell. You waited. You watched. You withheld not love, but interference. And in doing so, you gave them the most honest gift anyone can offer another soul. Freedom. The freedom to choose. The freedom to ignore. The freedom to walk blindly toward a wall and hit it at full speed. Yes, your patience killed them, but not in the way they'll claim. It killed the version of them that thought they were untouchable. It killed the illusion that they could do anything without consequence. It killed the fantasy that you would always be there to soften the landing. And maybe that was what they needed. Maybe that was what you needed. Because now, you are no longer the rescuer, no longer the protector of those who spit in the face of warning. You are no longer available for the self-inflicted wounds of those who refuse to change. And that freedom, it's heavy, but it's real. You're not cruel, you're clear. And now, standing here in the aftermath, you must look back one last time. Not to grieve, but to acknowledge the strength it took to stand still while the world begged you to move. To remember the moment when your silence was louder than any scream, when your stillness carried more weight than 1,000 interventions, and to accept, finally, fully, and forever, that they were always going to fall, that you didn't cause it, you only stopped catching them. So let that guilt go, let it rot, let it dissolve. It was never yours to carry. They had your warnings, They had your love. They had your presence. And they chose defiance. They chose pride. They chose the path with the lesson waiting at the end. And now they've met it. So walk forward now, not in bitterness, not in triumph, but in peace. Because the next time someone looks at you and asks, "Why didn't you stop them?" you'll smile, not cruelly, but calmly, and answer with the quiet truth of someone who has walked through fire, because I already tried. And they didn't want saving. They wanted the fall, and they got it. And you got your freedom. Not the kind wrapped in chains of heroism, not the kind dressed up as sacrifice, but the real kind, the lonely kind, the sacred kind, the kind that costs you something, but leaves you whole. You didn't just let them make their mistake. You let yourself go. And now, you are free. We go on. Not because the silence isn't enough, but because your story doesn't end at freedom. Freedom is not a final breath. It is the first inhale after carrying the weight of someone else's fate for far too long. You see, people will never understand what it cost you. Not truly, because to them, you did nothing. You didn't scream, you didn't fight, you didn't stand in their way, but you know better. You know the agony of holding back when you could see the cliff edge clearly. You know the restraint it took to close your mouth, when every part of your soul was shouting, "Don't go that way." But they didn't hear you. Not because you were silent, but because they were deaf with pride, drunk on their own sense of invincibility, blind to the danger you had already seen 1,000 times before. So you watched them walk, you watched them fall, and now you walk too. Not away from them, but toward yourself, toward the version of you that doesn't need to prove your heart by how much damage you can absorb. That version of you is awake now. It sees the pattern. It sees the trap. It sees how you used to call it compassion. But it was always self-burial. You covered their chaos with your calm. You swallowed their storms and blamed yourself for the thunder. But no more. The day you stopped was the day you were reborn. The truth is, you didn't just let them make their mistake. You let yourself make a choice, a different kind of choice. One that didn't come from fear or guilt or emotional blackmail, but a choice that said, "I matter too." And in that moment, you stop being a shield. You stop being the one who bends so others don't break. And finally, you let the world break them. It wasn't hatred, it was honesty. It wasn't betrayal, it was boundaries. And if they saw that as cruelty, it only proves they never truly saw you at all. Because if they did, they would have heard your silence as the loudest scream of all. They would have felt the distance as mercy. They would have recognized your absence as the final gift you had left to give. But they didn't. They learned the hard way. And so did you. Now you know. The world doesn't fall apart when you say no. People don't shatter when you stop holding their pieces together. The chaos doesn't consume you when you let it pass you by. You survived. You stayed whole. You walked through the fire without setting yourself ablaze for someone who refused to stop dancing in gasoline. And now there is only clarity. This isn't about revenge. This isn't about "I told you so." This is about peace, the kind that comes from no longer arguing with reality. Because the truth is, they were always going to make that choice. That fall was already written. You just finally stopped trying to rewrite their ending. And the moment you did that, you stepped out of their storm and into your own sky. There is power in that sky. There is peace in that height. Because now, from here, you see how small that chaos was. You see how heavy that role was. How unnecessary that burden became when you realized it was never really yours. And here is the greatest truth of all. Not everyone wants to be saved. Not everyone deserves to be. Some only want the comfort of your presence, the shield of your strength, the silence of your sacrifice. They don't want the truth. They don't want change. They don't want reflection. They want rescue, but only if they never have to pay for the ride. And you've stopped being the driver for those unwilling to walk on their own 2 feet. You are not cruel. You are clear, and that clarity cuts through all the noise like a blade. It may not win you friends, but it will win you peace. And now, you are at peace, because you let them go, because you let them fall, because you stopped saving people who called you selfish for finally saving yourself. You let them make their mistake. You watched the cost come for them. And when it arrived, you didn't flinch. You didn't look away. You didn't say, "I told you so." You said nothing. Because what more is there to say when fate finishes the sentence you started? They paid. And you walked away lighter, not empty, not broken, just done. Done carrying people who never planned to stand. Done warning those who never planned to listen. Done bleeding for those who only came to watch you wither. Your patience didn't kill them. Their ignorance did. Your patience only made space for it to reveal itself. And now, in this moment, with the echoes of the past behind you and the fire of truth inside you, you step forward again, stronger, quieter, more dangerous than ever. Not because you strike, but because you know when to walk away. Let the world wonder how you did it. Let them ask how you stayed so calm, how you walked through their collapse without collapsing too. You'll know the answer, and you won't need to speak it, because your silence has always said enough. And to those still stuck in the pattern, still chasing people who don't listen, still pouring into empty hands, still warning deaf hearts, let this be the message they remember. You cannot carry someone else's lesson. You cannot prevent someone else's fall. You cannot sacrifice yourself for people who think drowning is a game. Step back. Let go. Let them crash if they must. And when they do, when the smoke clears and the silence settles and the consequence arrives like a long-awaited storm, stand tall and know that you were never the villain. You were the final mercy, and they didn't take it. So now, you're not their savior. You're something stronger. You're free. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished souls, and those who have been forged in the fires of adversity, welcome today. We gather, not just as individuals, but as a collective of warriors, survivors, and dreamers. What you're about to hear is not just a speech. It is a mirror, a weapon, and a lifeline. It'll cut you open, expose your scars, and then show you how to heal from the inside out. This is not for the faint of heart. This is for those who have walked through the darkness and emerged with the fire still burning in their chest, for those who have been tested beyond their limits and yet stand here still breathing with a story to tell. They wanted to make you jealous, but ended up destroying everything. Yes, they tried to shake you from your foundation. They plotted, they schemed, they waited in the shadows, and with a twisted smile on their lips, they thought they could break you. They thought their actions, their words, their betrayals would leave you crumbling at their feet, but they underestimated something deep within you, something they could never understand. They didn't know the price you've paid for every inch of your strength, the nights you've spent alone battling your demons, the sacrifices you've made to stand here today. They thought they could rattle your cage, but they didn't realize that in the process, they would only shatter themselves. You see, they wanted to make you feel small, to make you doubt yourself, to make you question your worth and your purpose. But in doing so, they only exposed their own insecurities, their own fragility, their own need to tear down what they could never build. They thought they could break your spirit, but they didn't realize that your spirit was already unbreakable. It had already been tempered in the flames of pain and disappointment. They thought you were weak because they couldn't understand the depth of your strength. They thought they could destroy your peace by dragging you into their chaos, but all they did was unravel their own lives. They thought by playing games with your mind, by manipulating your emotions and twisting the truth, they could get under your skin. They thought you would crumble under the weight of their cruelty, that you would lose yourself in the noise of their hatred. But what they failed to realize was that you have been tested in ways they could never comprehend. You have faced darkness and come out stronger. You have walked through storms that would have drowned lesser souls. Your foundation was built on the lessons of your struggles, on the blood, sweat, and tears of your journey. You are a creation of resilience. You are not a fragile glass figure to be shattered by their petty games. And when they thought they had won, when they thought they had pushed you to the edge, when they believed they had seen the last of your strength, that's when they made the mistake. They did not realize that you are not a person to be intimidated. You are not a victim to be used for someone's amusement. You are a force to be reckoned with. They tried to bring you down, but in the process, they ended up exposing themselves for the hollow shells they truly are. They thought they could shake your confidence, but in reality, they only revealed their own fear. They tried to make you doubt your worth, but in doing so, they only confirmed that their own self-worth was nothing but an illusion. You see, the jealousy they tried to instill in you was never about you. It was always about them. It was their insecurities, their self-loathing, their inability to come to terms with their own failures that drove them to act in such ways. They wanted to tear you down because they could not bear to see you rise above them. They could not stand the fact that you were unapologetically yourself, that you walked a path they couldn't follow. They wanted to make you feel inferior, to make you feel like you didn't deserve what you had earned with blood and sweat. But in the end, all they did was reveal the truth about themselves. They didn't just destroy their relationship with you, they destroyed themselves in the process. They tried to make you believe that you were less than what you are, that you are not worthy of the life you've built, not worthy of the success you've earned, not worthy of the love you've attracted into your life. They wanted to make you question every decision you've made, to make you doubt every victory you've celebrated. But instead of achieving their goal, they revealed their own bitterness, their own inability to rise above their own limitations. They wanted to pull you into their world of misery, but all they did was sink deeper into their own self-inflicted hell. In their pursuit of jealousy and revenge, they have only destroyed themselves. They have alienated themselves from the very people who once supported them. They have poisoned their own relationships with their need for control and their desperation to feel superior. They have lost sight of their own humanity, and in doing so, they have sealed their fate. They thought they could tear you apart with their words and actions, but all they did was dig their own grave. It's easy to get caught up in the games that others play, to become consumed by the need to prove ourselves in the face of adversity. It's easy to take the bait and let the venomous words of others seep into our hearts. But you must remember that the ones who try to make you jealous are the ones who are truly weak. The ones who try to tear you down are the ones who are afraid. They are afraid of your strength, afraid of your power, afraid of the fact that you have the ability to overcome anything that stands in your way. They are afraid because they know deep down that they could never walk the path that you walk with the same resilience and determination that you carry. So when they try to make you jealous, when they try to drag you into their web of lies and deceit, remember this: they are not your enemy. Their hatred is not a reflection of you. It is a reflection of them. The ones who seek to destroy you are the ones who are already broken. They have lost their way and are too blind to see the damage they are causing to themselves. They are like dogs, chasing their own tails, never realizing that in their pursuit of something they will never catch, they are only exhausting themselves. You are not here to play their games. You are not here to prove anything to anyone. You are here to live your truth, to follow your path, and to rise above the noise of the world. You have already won the battle by simply standing tall, by refusing to let their hatred define your worth. You are a warrior, a survivor, a dreamer, who knows that the only person you need to prove anything to is yourself. So let them play their games. Let them wallow in their bitterness and envy. They are only digging their own graves. They are only sealing their own fate. And as they continue to destroy everything they touch, remember that you are building something that no amount of jealousy or hate can ever tear down. You are building a legacy that will outlast them all. You are stronger than their games. You are more resilient than their attempts to break you. You are a force of nature, and nothing can ever change that. You are not a product of their cruelty. You are the result of your own strength and determination. You are not a victim of their jealousy. You are a survivor of their self-destruction. Let them waste their lives chasing shadows. Let them continue to crumble under the weight of their own bitterness. And as they watch you rise higher and higher, let them know this: you were never their competition. You were never their target. You were always destined for greatness, and no one can ever take that from you. So when they ask themselves what went wrong, when they wonder why everything they touched has fallen apart, let them remember this truth. They wanted to make you jealous, but in the end, they destroyed everything. They destroyed their relationships, their happiness, their peace of mind. They destroyed themselves. And you keep moving forward because that's what warriors do. They want you to fall. They want to see you stumble. They hope for the day when your strength gives way, when your confidence breaks apart under the pressure of their cruelty. They want to feel superior, to have some semblance of control over you, to see you fall in a way that validates their emptiness. But you keep moving forward because that's what warriors do. You do not bend to the whims of those who think they can define your worth by their jealousy. You do not break under the weight of their hate. You rise over and over again from the ashes of their twisted attempts to tear you down. And let me tell you something that they will never understand. The very thing they tried to destroy in you, the very thing they sought to make fragile and small, is the thing that has made you unstoppable. It's the fire that burns inside you, the conviction that no matter how many times you're knocked down, you will always get back up stronger than before. They wanted to see you fall because it would make them feel better about their own lack of courage, their own inability to face life with the same resolve that you do. They sought to diminish your greatness so they could feel like they mattered, so they could feel like they weren't lost in a world that didn't understand them. But all they have done is confirm what you've always known. They are afraid. Their jealousy is not just an emotion. It's a reflection of their own insecurities, their inability to look at themselves in the mirror and accept the truth. The truth that they are weak, that they are broken, that they have spent their lives hiding behind lies, projecting an image of strength they do not possess. When they looked at you, they saw what they could never have, and instead of using that as fuel to improve themselves, they used it to try to tear you down. What they didn't understand, what they failed to realize, was that the strength you carry cannot be touched by their petty attacks. Your strength isn't something that can be shattered with words or actions. It's born from the scars of your past, the pain you've endured, the betrayals you've survived. It's carved into your soul and woven into your very being, and they will never understand that. They will never understand the depth of your resilience, the way you keep going even when the road is long and the nights are cold. They will never understand the weight of the sacrifices you've made, the moments when you could have given up but chose to keep fighting instead. They will never comprehend the fire that drives you because they have never known the hunger for something more, the hunger to survive, to thrive, to become the person they were always meant to be. In their eyes, you represent everything they will never be: unstoppable, unshaken, unapologetically real. And that's what terrifies them. It's not your success that haunts them, it's your spirit, the way you carry yourself with a quiet confidence that they could never replicate, no matter how hard they try. You have something they will never have, because you were forged in the fires of adversity, in the moments when the world tried to break you, but only made you stronger. And that, my friends, is a power that no amount of jealousy can ever touch. Let them whisper behind your back. Let them laugh at your progress. Let them throw their petty insults your way. You are a warrior, and a warrior knows that the opinions of the small-minded are nothing more than noise. Their words can't touch you. Their actions can't break you, because you are focused on something far greater than their petty games. You are focused on your mission, your purpose, your journey. The ones who try to destroy you don't realize that their hate only fuels your fire. The more they try to push you down, the higher you will rise. And each time they watch you soar, it will be a reminder to them of everything they could never have. They are nothing but shadows in your rearview mirror, growing smaller and smaller with every step you take towards your destiny. What they fail to realize is that by trying to make you jealous, by trying to make you feel small, they have already lost. They have lost because they are consumed by bitterness and envy. They have allowed those emotions to control them, to define them, and in doing so, they have condemned themselves to a life of misery. Their jealousy is a reflection of their own failure to accept themselves for who they truly are. They look at you, they look at your strength and your resilience, and they wish they could be like you. But they can't. They can't because they have spent their lives hiding behind their insecurities, pretending to be something they are not. And now, when faced with someone who refuses to back down, they are exposed for the frauds they truly are. You see, warriors do not play games. They do not waste their time trying to bring others down to feel better about themselves. Warriors rise above the noise. They know that in order to achieve greatness, they must focus on their own path, their own mission. And they understand that the only competition worth worrying about is the person they were yesterday. They do not waste energy on those who seek to destroy them, because they know that the best revenge is success. The best revenge is rising above, not sinking down to the level of those who wish to see you fail. So when they whisper behind your back, when they try to pull you into their web of deceit, remember this: their words are nothing. Their actions are nothing. They are nothing. They are just broken people, grasping for something to hold on to, and the only thing they can hold on to is their envy of you. You are not their problem. You are not their enemy. You are their reminder of everything they will never be, and that, my friends, is why they can't leave you alone. But you are free. Free from their chains. Free from their need to control you. Free from their games. You are a warrior who understands that no one's opinion, no one's jealousy can define who you are. You define yourself. Your journey is your own, and no one can take that from you. The moment you realize that, the moment you understand that you are not defined by the opinions of others, is the moment you truly step into your power. So let them continue to tear themselves apart in their jealousy. Let them continue to chase after shadows, to waste their lives trying to bring you down. You, my friends, are on a different path. You are a warrior who does not look back. You are a force of nature, unstoppable and unshaken. They can try all they want, but they will never be able to break you. They will never be able to take away what you've built, what you've earned, what you've become. And when they look at you, when they see you standing tall, when they see you rising higher and higher, remember this: they wanted to make you jealous, but in the end, they destroyed themselves. They destroyed their own peace. They destroyed their own happiness. They destroyed everything they ever built, all because they couldn't stand to see you shine. But you keep moving forward, because that's what warriors do. They rise, they fight. They become more than what the world ever thought they could be. And nothing in this world can ever take that away from you. Not the envy, not the hate, not the whispers in the dark. None of it. It's because what they cannot see, the thing that burns in your soul, the thing that has carried you through every storm and every battle, is that you have something they can never touch. You have a purpose, a fire that ignites your every action. You don't live for validation or approval. You don't seek the empty praise of those who cannot understand your journey. Your power, your essence, is born from something deeper, something purer. And that's exactly why they will never win. What they fail to understand is that they never had the ability to break you. They may have tried to wound you with their words, with their actions, with their calculated moves to tear apart your peace. But they didn't realize something fundamental about you. They were playing a game with rules they couldn't comprehend. They thought they could shatter your confidence, poison your mind, but instead, they only exposed themselves. They only revealed the emptiness of their own lives, their own insecurities, and in the end, that's what destroyed them. Not you. You see, when you've been forged in fire, when you've been tested by the most brutal adversities, nothing can touch you. Nothing. The trials you've faced, the pain you've endured, the sacrifices you've made, those are the very things that have shaped you into something they could never understand. You've become a force, an unstoppable tide, rising higher and higher with every wave of doubt they send your way. They cannot touch the core of who you are because it's unshakable. It's rooted in truth, and that truth is the key to your power. They may have tried to shake you, but they couldn't even rattle you. Not really, and that's why they failed. They wanted you to feel small. They wanted to diminish your achievements, your character, your spirit. They wanted to see you questioning your worth, doubting yourself, wondering whether you could keep moving forward. They saw your strength, your ability to rise from the ashes of their schemes, and it scared them. It terrified them. Why? Because they know that people like you, people who refuse to back down, people who are relentless in their pursuit of something greater than themselves, those people change the world. They shift the balance of everything, and that's the thing they fear most. You weren't supposed to rise. You weren't supposed to become this strong. You weren't supposed to be a reminder that greatness lies within us all if we are willing to fight for it. But here you are, still standing, still fighting, still moving forward. And they, in all their spite and jealousy, can't understand it. They can't understand that what they thought would break you was the very thing that made you stronger. The isolation, the attacks, the betrayal, it all built you. It all added layers to your armor. It wasn't meant to destroy you, even though it may have felt like it in the moment. It was meant to shape you, to push you into your true power. That's the thing about adversity. It reveals who you really are. And if you're paying attention, if you embrace the struggle, you come out on the other side as a person they could never have predicted. You become something far greater than their hatred could ever take from you. They thought they had you figured out. They thought they could break you with their lies, their manipulation, their petty games. But the truth is, they were never in control. They were never the ones with the power. You always held the power. They were too busy focusing on your downfall to realize that the moment they tried to drag you down, they sealed their own fate. You've known from the start that the only way to lose is to quit. And quitting was never an option for you. When you understand that no one has the power to determine your worth, no one can control your journey, that's when you find real freedom. When you let go of the idea that anyone has the right to dictate who you are, who you should be, or what you can accomplish, that's when you become truly unstoppable. The world is full of people who will try to tell you what you can and cannot do. People who will say you're not good enough. People who will point out your flaws, your mistakes, your failures. But they are wrong. They will always be wrong because they have no idea what you've been through. No idea how hard you fought to get where you are. They are judging you from the outside, not seeing the fire that burns inside you, the resilience that's been built over years of struggle, the power that's been forged in the darkest corners of your soul. You didn't arrive at this point by accident. It didn't happen because you were lucky or because everything was handed to you on a silver platter. No, you got here because you fought for it. You got here because you made the choice to rise every time you were knocked down. You decided that you would not be defined by the mistakes of others or the limitations they tried to impose on you. You decided that you would make your own path, carve your own future, and that no one, no matter how hard they tried, would stop you from reaching your destiny. And that's the power of understanding your own worth. When you know your value, when you know what you're capable of, nothing can stop you. Nothing. The attempts to bring you down, the attempts to shake your foundation, will only make you more resolute, more determined, more unyielding. They will learn that no matter how hard they try to poison your spirit, they will never succeed because you are not a product of their hatred. You are a creation of your own will, your own strength, and your own unshakable belief that you are worthy of everything you've earned. So let them waste their energy on jealousy. Let them waste their time tearing others down to make themselves feel better. They don't know what it means to be truly powerful. They don't know what it means to rise above the noise and live with purpose. They are lost in their own bitterness, and they will never find peace until they stop trying to tear down those who are simply living their truth. And when you move forward, when you continue your journey, remember this: their bitterness is not your burden. Their jealousy is not your problem. They tried to take something from you that was never theirs to begin with. They wanted to steal your peace, your joy, your success. But the truth is, they couldn't. They couldn't, because it was never theirs. And you, my friend, are not the kind of person who lets anyone take what belongs to you. What's yours is yours, and nothing, no one, can take that from you. The more they try to tear you down, the higher you rise. The more they try to make you feel small, the bigger your presence becomes. You are not here to play their games. You are not here to fit into their narrow view of the world. You are here to shine. You are here to rise. You are here to be everything they thought they could destroy, but everything they could never touch. The time for their games is over. The time for your rise has come. And there is nothing, nothing in this world that can ever take that away from you. You are a warrior. You are a survivor. You are unstoppable. Keep moving forward. Keep becoming who you were always meant to be, because no one at all can stop you now. In the end, they can try all they want to make you feel small, to tear you down with their jealousy and hate. But the truth is, they can never touch the strength you've built. You've been forged by fire, tested by trials, and emerged unbroken. Their attempts to destroy you only reveal their own weaknesses while you continue to rise. You are a force of nature, unstoppable and unshakable. Let them waste their lives in bitterness, because you are on a path they could never understand. Keep moving forward. Keep embracing your power, and never let anyone take away what's rightfully yours. Because no matter what they do, they can never take away your greatness.